മൗനവ്യാഖ്യാ ത്രവാനന്ദമൂർത്തിം വടവിടപി സമീപേ ഭൂമിഭാഗ്യേ നിഷന്നം ജ്ഞാനദാതാരമാരാത് ത്രിഭുവനഗുരുമീശം ദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തിദേവം ജനനമരണദുഃഖച്ഛേദദക്ഷം നമാമി. ചിത്രം വടതരോർമൂലേ വൃദ്ധാ ശിഷ്യാ ഗുരുർയുവ ഗുരോസ്തു മൗനം വ്യാഖ്യാനം ഗുരവേ സർവലോകാനാം ദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ. ഓം നമഃ പ്രണവാർത്ഥായ ശുദ്ധജ്ഞാനൈകമൂർത്തയേ നിർമ്മലായ പ്രശാന്തായ ദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ. ഈശ്വരോ ഗുരുരാത്മേതി ഭേദവിഭാഗിനി വ്യോമവ്യാപ്തദേഹായ ദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ. വിശ്വം ദർപ്പണദൃശ്യമാനനഗരീ തുല്യം നിജാന്തർഗതം പശ്യന്നാത്മനി മായയാ ബഹിരിവോർഭൂതം താനിദ്രയാ സാക്ഷാത് കുരുതേ പ്രബോധസമയേ സ്വാത്മാനമേവാദ്വയം സ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ. ഇദം ബീജസ്യാന്തരിവാങ്കുരോ ജഗതി തം പ്രാങ്നിർവികൽപം പുനഃ മായാ വൈചിത്ര്യചിത്രീകൃതം മായാവീവ വിജൃംഭയത്യവിമഃ യോഗീ വയസ്വേച്ഛയാ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ. ഇദം ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ. സ്ഫുരണം സദാത്മകമസത് കൽപ്പാർത്ഥകം ഭാസത്തെ സാക്ഷാത് തത്വമസീതി വേദവചസാ യോ ഭൂത്യാശ്രിവ യത്സാക്ഷാത്കരണാത് ഭവേന്ന പുനരാവൃത്തിർഭവാംഭോനിധോ തസ്മൈ ശ്രീഗുരുമൂർത്തയേ നമഃ. ഇദം ശ്രീദക്ഷിണാമൂർത്തയേ. നാനാചിത്രഘടോദരസ്ഥിതമഹാ ദീപപ്രഭാഭാസ്വരം ജ്ഞാനം യസ്യ ദുക്ഷുരാദികരണദ്വാരാ ബഹിസ്പന്ദതേ ജാനാമീതി തമേവ ഭാന്തം ആത്യേതഃ സമസ്തം ജഗത് श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये प्राणमहीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दुसदृशः मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रकरणोपसंहरणतो यो भूसुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागप्स्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यप्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहमित्यन्तःस्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामिसम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राध्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जाग्रति वा य एष पुरुषः मायापरिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ब्रह्मास्वनिलो नलुम्भरमदाशो हिमांशुः पुमान् विमृशतां यस्मात् परस्मात् विभो तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यत्त्वमिस्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य प्रवणात्तदर्थतमनात् ज्ञानाच्च सङ्कीर्तनात् विभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं सिद्धेत्यत्तदा पर्यं च और्यमव्याहतम् ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम्. Where are we? 64? 64 complete. Also. Okay, let us revise 64. स्वप्नदृक्चित्तदृश्यास्ते न विद्यन्ते ततः पृथक् तथा तदृश्यमे वेदम् स्वप्नदृक्चित्तमिष्यते. So here, Gaudabadacharya is taking up a pair, that is, mind obtaining in the dream is the subject, and the dream world consisting of Andajam, Svedajam, Udbijam, Jarayujam, all of them, they are object. In the dream world also, all these species are there. Andajam, Udbijam, Jarayujam, Svedajam, etc. Bed bugs biting there also. You are sleeping in an Indian railway station. There are bed bugs biting. Or lice in your hair, that also. Or somebody in the village is taking out the lice from your hair. You dream. Here in this waking stage in America, you are shampooing your hair, so there is no lice at all. Yeah, dandruff and all it removes, no? But there in India, they don't shampoo, they put hair oil. That's why they get this lice. So all the species are there. So that is also what? One mind. Object and subject, one mind. So he is comparing that. So, tataha pratakta vidyante. So, since therefore object is mithya and the subject is satyam there. What is satyam there? Mind seems to be satyam, and the object of the dream is mithya. Mithya object does not exist separate from the subject satyam. Therefore, tataha prathakna vidyante. All those objects in the dream world does not exist separate from mind, the subject. So the dream world is mithya and the dream is satyam, means the mind is satyam. Second line, tatha, extending the same principle. When you take the consciousness-mind pair, what will happen? Idam sopnadhrik chittam. This mind which is considered subject from the standpoint of the dream world, that mind is drishyameva, an object alone with regard to consciousness. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. Tak drishyam driktu manasam. Drishyadhi vrittaya sakshi. Drikeva natu drishyate. Drik drishyavega. First verse. What is that? With reference to the objects, pairwise seems to be the subject, the drik. Now that pairwise also become an object from the standpoint of mind. Mind also become an object from the standpoint of consciousness. But consciousness never become an object. Drikeva natu drishyate. Now that is what he is coming into, drishyameva. So, okay, drikeva. So with regard to consciousness, whose name is Swapnadrik. Therefore the final conclusion is, both the mind and the world is mithya. What is satyam? Now this is about dream. Now he wants to extend that logic to waking world. That is the 65th verse. Charan jagarite jagrat Dikshuvai dashasustitan Andajan Svedajan Vapi Jivan Pashyati Yan Sada. That Vivek Ramani, who is chanting it? Huh? Very good. Yeah, very. That's only. Not very impressive. Some old man chanting it. That Arda Kumar chanted it. Oh. Okay. You can ask her if she has got. I will ask her. Now, Charan Jagarite Jagrat. He says things are not different in waking state also. Here the terms used are Jagradak, Jagradrak Chittam, Jagradrak Chitta Drishyam. Here also we take the letter pair Jagradrak Chittam and Jagradrak Chitta Drishyam. The word is mithya. The world is mithya, mind is satyam, and later we will say the mind is also mithya, and satyam is consciousness. It is an extension, so need not elaborate it. Jagarite, in the Jagrat Avastha also, Jagrat refers to Jagrat Drik in the Jagrat Avastha, experiencing all living beings like Andajan, Svedajan, Jarayujan, Udbhijan. All living beings are experienced in the 10 directions. This we saw before in 63 verse also. So now continuing. Jagrat chitte kshaniyaste na vidyante tatha prathak tathatak drishyame vedam Jagradaschittamishyate. This was also very similar to verse 64. Here also, Gaudapadacharya apply the same principle. Take the mind and the object. Mind is the subject and the world is the object. And thus the world is mithya, mind is satyam. So he says, Jagrat chitta ikshaniyaha te. Here, Ikshaniyaha means Jagrat Prapancha, the object of the waker. This entire waking world is an object of experience for the waker's mind, and therefore the waker's mind is the subject and waking world is the object. Therefore, na vidyante tatha prithak. Waker's world mithya does not exist separate from waker's mind, which is for the time being satyam. So there is no world other than the mind. Tatha jagradaha chittam tad drishyameva. Now, you should think that the dream world is nothing but mind. Mind alone is the dream world. Okay? Now, mind alone is the subject. Mind alone is the object. Now, what Gaudapadacharya want to prove? The waking world also, what is that? The objective world is also your mind. That is what he want to prove. Don't think that mind is a subject and world is an object sitting there. No, that is not what he want to say. Objective world is also nothing but our mind. World is a projection of our mind. We always heard that. Now that is what is coming to that point. Tatha jagradaha chittam dadrishyameva. But when you come to consciousness and the mind, very same mind become an object of consciousness, and therefore it does not exist separate from consciousness principle. Therefore, Jagrat Chittam is also Mithya. Jagrat Chitta Drishyam is also Mithya. Chittam here is mind. In any state of experience, mind is also Mithya. The object is also Mithya. Consciousness is beyond mind and matter. Mind is Trigunatmakam, Maya, world is also Trigunatmakam, Maya. Maya to Maya transaction is going on. Out of that interaction, things happen. Don't get carried away by either of them. That's why Bhagavan said in Gita, Guna Guneshu Vartanda Idi Matva Nasajjate. Understand, I am neither the mind nor the world. That is called Turiyam. Okay. Eh? Eh? Oh, the outside Virat. Virat is Samashti mind, yes. No, but even though Samashti mind is projected, but without your mind, you are not aware of that. That is the point.
That becomes Jiva Srishti is Ishvara Srishti.
Eh?
Jiva Srishti versus Ishvara Srishti, there Swamiji. Are we talking about Jiva Srishti versus Ishvara Srishti or just the...
There is no Jiva Srishti, no? That is
Jiva Srishti is my own word that I create.
There is no Jiva.
Well, at that level,
He is not accepting Jiva Srishti. Gaudapadacharya never accepted Srishti at all. So from his standpoint, there is no Jiva Srishti. Anyway, let us proceed. He will see, he will tell you. 67th. Upehyanyonyadrishyete kim tadastiti nochyate lakshanashunyamubhayam. Oh, lakshana இருக்கு இல்லையா? I have only lakshana. Okay, lakshana shunya irukkanum. Lakshana shunyamubhayam tanmate naiva grihyate. Tanmate. Tanmate naiva grihyate. Now, Gaudapada Acharya concludes this discussion with an important observation, that the mind is also mithya and the world is also mithya. This we have arrived at with the discussion from previous verses. Both of them are unreal. They cannot exist independently. They are mutually dependent. How? The moment mind goes to sleep, the world disappears. It is important to note that the mind also cannot exist without world. In meditation, people try to remove all objects from the mind. When you remove all thought-related objects, mind cannot exist. Mind alone without world is not possible. That is what the Buddhist says, shunyam. See. World also have no existence without mind. Both are mutually dependent. That is why in sleep, both of them resolve together, mind and world, in sleep. In waking, as even the mind rises, the world also rises. That means both are not independent. So if it is mutually dependent, both are mithya. This technical aspect Gaudapada mentioned here, Ubhe Anyonya Drishye. The mind and the world recognized because of the other. One is recognized because of the other. Mind's existence is proved because of the world. The world existence is proved because of the mind. Mind depends on the world and the world depends on the mind. Therefore he says, Ubhehe. The mind and the world in the Jagrat and Sopna avasthas anyonya recognize mutually with the other. Appreciation of the pot cognition depend upon the pot. Both thought and the object are mutually dependent. So advanced quantum physics, now only they started questioning this. They ask an interesting question. Do I see a tree because the tree exists? Or does the tree exist because I see? Start thinking. This is the doubt. Therefore, it is clear that both are false. Both are mithya. The tree exists, therefore I see, or I see, therefore there is a tree. Drashta srishtihi. There's a lot to think about it. Now start arguing into your mind. What is the argument?
Blind person cannot see the tree.
Eh?
But another person can see that. A blind person cannot see the tree, but another person can see the tree.
No, forget about other person. You're talking about ourselves.
No, but the blind person will also go hit the tree, right? So the tree exists.
Huh?
A blind person, he did not see, but he can go hit the tree. So the tree exists.
So even if he doesn't see.
Yeah.
But for him, even though he hits the tree, but he doesn't know it is tree.
He thinks he hit something. Okay. The object tree.
He doesn't know it is tree. So unless you see it, so the object has to be there. Now if you ask an Advaitin, kim tadasti, whether that pair exists independently, mind and world pair, if such a question is asked to an Advaitin, na iti uchyate. The answer is neither the mind nor the world exist independently. They are mutually dependent. Lakshana shunya upayam. Both of them do not have independent proof for their existence. It is extended to sense organs also. Imagine there is a world without colors and forms. What will happen? First of all, we don't experience colors and forms. That is negated. Okay, colors and forms are not there. But is there the sense organ called eye? Can you prove the existence of the sense organ called eye if the world is free from color and form? Think about it, imagine it. From our dictionary, one sense organ will come down. Because the proof of the eye is dependent on form and color. Colors and forms are negated, you cannot talk about the existence of the eye. The existence of the one dependent upon the other. Tanmate naiva grihyate, because each one is recognized because of the knowledge of the other. Matam, knowledge of one responsible for the appreciation of the other. soul two, world and mind. Therefore, mind and the world are both mithya. That is the point. Then the class is also mithya. Yes, it is mithya. Yeah? Yeah. Moksha is also mithya.
That's already there, right? It's only our ignorance that makes us think.
Hmm?
Only our ignorance makes us think it is not there.
You are already moksha purusha, I see. Ever liberated. Because logically it's not possible. To attain moksha is a wrong sentence. Because moksha being infinite, one cannot attain infinite. Infinite has to be there always. That's why eternal heaven is it's not a correct sentence. Term. It's not a correct term. Eternal heaven. Once you, eternal heaven, I enter. How can you enter? If you enter, you have to exit also. Our heavens are temporary. That's why Shine Punye Martilogam Vishanti. Our hell also temporary place. Correction centers. They are all. Sent you back. But those who eternal hell condemnation, that is also not there. Okay, let us go back a little bit. Now, in these verses, beginning from 57th verse to 74th verse, Gaudapadacharya is presenting the Vedanta Sara. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Jivo Brahmaiva Na Para. This sentence you have to reflect upon all the time. Okay. Jivo Brahmaiva Na Para. All the time we think that I am a jiva, jiva, jiva. What is the sentence says? Jivo Brahmaiva Na Para. So it is one and the same. So I am not different from Brahman. I am not finite, miserable jiva. I am that Brahman, the reality. This is what our Rishis and Vedas declare. So this is what Gaudapadacharya has been continuously speaking. From the second chapter, third chapter, now fourth chapter. So establish this alone, several arguments are given. But that acceptance, even though we are hearing repeatedly, that acceptance has not come. So, Jagan Mithyatvam, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, and the Mithyatvam of the universe has been established through several methods, and in these few verses, Gaudapadacharya uses special reasoning, which you had seen in the second chapter. That reason is, whatever is an object of experience has to be mithya. Yat drishyam tannashyam. Because of its existence can be proved dependent on the subject. Therefore, yat drishyam tat mithya. mithya. Why the world is mithya? Drishyatvad. Now, if you go to heaven, if you see heaven, mithya. Why? Drishyatvad. You go to Vaikuntha, is also mithya. Why? Drishyatvad. Kailas, again, drishyatvad. Anything that you see for that matter, drishyam, come under drishyam means mithya. See how the darity of our rishis. Even Vaikuntha they dismiss. Vaishnavaits will get angry with us. He divided the universe into three categories. One Sakshi, another is Chittam, third is Prapancha. The witness, the mind, the universe. And taking these three categories, first he established that the world is mithya, because it is the object of the mind. So, prapancha mithya chitta drishyatvad swapnavad, or rope snake. So, first the mithyatvam of the universe was established by showing that the world is the object of the mind. Thereafter, Gaudapada applies the same principle and says that the mind is also mithya, because it is the drishyam or object of the sakshi. Chittam mithya sakshi drishyatvad swapnavad rajju sarpavat. So, prapancha is drishyam from the standpoint of the mind, and mind is also drishyam from the standpoint of sakshi. Then what about sakshi? Sakshi is never an object of anything. Sakshi is never a drishyam. It is never a drik. Drikeva natu drishyate. It is ever drik. It is not drishyam. Therefore, sakshi satyam, all others are mithya. Drishyatvad. This is the arguments Gaudapada used up to the verse 66, which we saw already. And then in the 67th verse, Gaudapada consolidated the discussion, pointing out, and therefore of these three things, two are mithya, and therefore consciousness plus mind plus world. If these three, consciousness alone is satyam. Of these three, consciousness alone is satyam. The mind and the world is mithya. And then he reinforces by giving one more reasoning. Since the mind and the world both are mithya, they do not exist independently. Both of them depend upon the other one. You cannot prove the existence of the world without the mind. You cannot prove the mind without the world. Only when I is there, we can prove the existence of forms and colors. That is well known. But equally well known is, or important is, forms and colors are there Only then you can prove the existence of the eyes. In a quiet room, sometimes you wonder you are hearing or not. So you make some sound, then you know you are hearing. So the senses and the world are mutually dependent, or the mind and the world are mutually dependent. Therefore, the conclusion is both are mithya. And that Chaitanya which reveals the existence of both, what world and the mind, is the only Satyam. Another point is all our knowledges are dependent upon or interpreted by one pramana or other. Pramana means instrument of knowledge. As long as knowledge is dependent upon instrument of knowledge, that knowledge cannot be real knowledge. It is interpreted by the instrument. From one standpoint, we think it is true. From another standpoint, it is not true. Truth cannot be subject to point of view. It has to be true in all views. See, in one of the Upanishad it is said, first Panchabhutas are created, right? Each Panchabhuta, each one of them has got their own quality. Akasha is Shabdam. Vayu is Sparsham. Agni is form and color. Then water is taste. Earth is smell. Now these qualities are there. Because of the quality, to enjoy the quality, what is required? A sense is required. Corresponding sense is required. Shabda, the ears, pair of ears. Then touch, skin. Then pair of eyes. Then tongue. Then nose. Now, which came first? This is also another problem. If you look at the evolutionary theory of Darwin, then from a unicellular organism, slowly it evolved into all that, what is that, steps that he gives. Now our people also interpret our Dashavatara as evolution theory. I don't understand this. Every time we want to make our scriptures scientific. This craze for scientific reasoning, you don't need that. But we have this mind what to do. Anyway, we are not able to accept it, our rishis. That faith is not there. Whereas what is given in Bible, they blindly believe. Whether it is true or not, nobody questions it. When it comes to Upanishad, we have question. How is that possible? Our rishis have spoiled us, I tell you, giving them too much freedom. Anyway, that's okay. So, all right, where are we? 68. Okay. Yatha swapnamayo jiva jayate mriyate picha तथा जीवा अमी सर्वे भवन्ति न भवन्ति च So both are mutually dependent. That is, that you are convinced, right?
My example is very clear. From 3 examples.
It has to be personalized.
Okay. Since the entire world has the various jivas like Andajam, Jarajam, Utbhijam, Svedajam, the world and jivas being mithya, you can never clearly talk about their arrival and departure. They apparently arrive and apparently depart. You can never prove their real arrival and departure. Therefore, he says, Ami sarve jivaha. All these jivas that we experience in front of us, Jagat, Swapna, Prapancha, all of them bhavanti na bhavanti. They falsely appear and then falsely disappear. Here bhavanti means appearance and na bhavanti means disappearance. Falsely or apparently we have to supply here. If it is not convincing to you, then I will give you an example. Swapnamayaha jivaha. Like the various jiva rashi seed within dream, how they arrive in the dream, if you start explaining, we will face a lot of difficulties. In dreams, all the forms appear instantaneously, and on waking up, they disappear also. No, you cannot give a sequence to the dream. That came first and this came first. You try to analyze. I was running. The tiger came later. No. You will never be able to logically explain. But during dream, they have sufficient reality to disturb you. Therefore, Swapnamaya Jivaha, the dream beings, Jayate, they appear without proper reasons. Anirvachaniyataya and Mriyatecha, they disappear also. In the same way, in the Jagrat Prapancha also, the more you try to probe into the creation, how the jivas came, where all the jivas existed in the beginning of creation, even talk about evolution theory, did all being evolve to become human being or only some? Therefore, whether karma came first or jivas came first, as you delve deeper into it, it becomes more and more vague. Anything beyond anirvachaniyam is beyond logical explanation. That is why we have one word, Maya. But Swamiji, we have not understood Maya. Means what? You don't understand. What you don't understand is called Maya. That's why it is called indescribable, anirvachaniyam, akatita ghadana, patiyasi Maya. All these are there. So Maya cannot be described karke, they have described Maya so much. Now what is this